Let's take a look at the institutional publishing ecosystem. We start with institutions. These may be of various types, like national academies, royal academies, learned societies, research performing organizations such as universities, and research funding organizations, and maybe even more, like archives or libraries. These can be within Europe and also be outside Europe, of course. In those institutions, there may be institutional publishers. Some institutions may have one, some may have two or more, and some may have no institutional publisher at all. Also within those institutions, there may be publishing service providers. Think of a university library doing the hosting for journals of an institutional publisher. Many institutional publishers will also be sort of their own service provider, carrying out really some of the publishing activities themselves. They do not outsource everything which is publishing. And there may be service providers outside institutions. This delivers a complex web of service provision relations from service providers to institutional publishers, and maybe even between service providers. We are aware, of course, that some of the service providers also provide services to commercial publishers, and even that some service providers may be owned by a commercial publisher, or may be of a commercial nature themselves, providing services to commercial publishers, but sometimes also to institutional publishers. Taking out those commercial entities leaves us with the institutional publishing ecosystem, still being aware that some of those service providers that do play a role in that ecosystem are themselves commercial. So what does this mean for the scope of our DIAMAS project? Within the project, we see everything within the red line as in scope for DIAMAS. So that includes institutions, that includes service providers also outside institutions, and that includes also service providers outside Europe. Think, for example, of open journal systems, an important software for publishers that is being provided by the Public Knowledge Project in the US. Looking further, we have to decide on what is the survey population of the survey that we carry out within the DIAMAS project. We considered restricting the survey population to just institutional publishers. And we considered going a little bit wider and also include institutions that do not have an institutional publisher. In the end, we decided to go for the green line. Everything within the green line is seen as relevant for the survey population. And we can still decide whether we want to keep service providers outside Europe and whether we want to keep service providers that are commercial. Importantly, we see institutional publishers as the prime survey population and mainly look at service providers outside those institutional publishers indirectly. So if they are mentioned in the answers of the survey as being an important service provider for an institutional publisher, then they also become part of the survey population. Thank you.